Well, good morning, everybody. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to As Above, So Below, a Rune and Tarot divination for the 20th day. I guess we're the 20th day of December 2021. Well, we are, let's see, this is Monday. I've been up for a long time. We went to the grocery store early this morning because I don't want to be around people who don't have masks on, and we find that if we go super early when they first open, then maybe we'll get away with that and we won't be around people that don't have masks on. So that's what we did. We just got home and now it's starting to sleet, so it's a good thing we got back in time. Let's take a look. I hope everybody had a good weekend. Now tonight marks Mother Night, and so tomorrow is Yule, or winter solstice. There's 12 days of Yule. And it does begin tonight, and lasts through, I think, either the 31st or to the 1st, maybe. I don't know. Just kind of depends each year, I guess. But we have a numerology of 2, which is balance, reciprocity, healing, love, and harmony. And this first part is going to be from the Esoteric Influences for the week. So if you want to check that out, that's over on the blog at imsteppingaside.com. The blog's called Stepping Aside, if you're not aware. But that's my website, so you can go check that out. There's links below the video everywhere I am, so you can check that out. Just click Show More, and you'll see all of that. But anyway, along with a numerology of 2, we had Fehu for today, which is wealth, abundance, cattle, life force. It's the sending energy for magical workings. It also means growth and success. There's a little bit of growth and stuff in the interpretation for today, too, so that's going to be interesting. The geomancy rune for today is Albus, or wisdom, the sage, clear thought, chastity, and communication. The sun's in Sagittarius, the moon's in Cancer, and again it's Mother Night. And Mother Night is where you honor Frigga, so the goddess Frigga. And let's see, we have the moon governs magic today, so you would work something around. I usually do meditations or trance work or whatever if I'm going to do anything at all on Monday, usually. Kind of align myself for the coming week. Let's see, but you have feminine magics, healing, intuition, cycles, reincarnation, astral travel, balance, and change. And the favorability of working magic today is very good. So I'll just briefly go. I'm not going to read the whole interpretation. I'll just kind of highlight a few things. You're going to want to understand cause and effect today of a situation you're going through. Think in terms of growth. Again, we have Albus as the geomancy rune, and also Fehu aligns with both of those. But for that to happen, you're going to have to pay careful attention to details, because if you don't, you're going to end up probably treading water. You'll miss something and you'll just kind of feel stuck today. Exercise restraint if interactions become tense. Overreaction isn't going to get you anywhere. So reassess your strategy if necessary. Try not to insist on your own agenda today. Respect the input others have to offer instead. And the thing about this being the first day, or tomorrow, well, actually it's the first day of Yule, but tonight being Mother Night, it marks the first day of the Yule celebration, where the rebirth of the sun is celebrated, reflecting a time of new beginnings for everybody. So it's kind of one of those Degas moments where one period is ending and another is beginning. Follow your values and convictions today. Confront challenges without any expectation of any outcome. Just see what happens. Accept the situation as it is and set a positive example for others to follow, even if it seems that you've gone as far as you can go and you're not getting anywhere with them. So, you just might have to just step back and have it be what it's going to be. I got a new deck in the mail. I think I might have mentioned it, that I ordered one. It's the Magic Seer deck, and I love it because I love this blue color, but some of the cards, I mean, they have a different type of hue to them, a different blue, a lot of grays, a lot of gray blues in them, and I just love this. So it's so stiff that I went ahead and I shuffled a bunch last night, and I shuffled a little more before I started. So I'm ready to actually go with the cards. A new deck is hard to shuffle. It always is, because the cards are all stiff and you can't really, I don't know, it takes a while to break them in. then by the time you break them in, it's time for a new deck. So I don't know. I was just looking through, I was on Amazon and I was looking at the different tarot decks. I needed to add one more thing to my order, and I saw that one. I thought, well, that's kind of interesting. And so I got it. It's a Rider-Waite deck, so it's basically the same as what I have, but I don't know. I just felt like having a new deck. Let's take a look at the rune for today. Aside from what was in the esoteric influences, we have Perthro. Perthro is about fate and chance. And whether or not you want to let others, I mean, the whole idea of this was the Norns controlling men's fate. It doesn't mention women's fate or all of humanity's fate. It's just the fate of men. But, and don't email me. It's just kind of an interesting thing that I noticed. But here you have it open to the future or birth. Here you have it open to death. Here you have a cauldron. So anyway, or you could also call this the well of Mimir, or the well of word, or the well of earth. However you want to see this. I think it's probably really Mimir is who actually owns the well or possesses the well. But some say it's the well of word, and some say it's the well of Erd, which is one of the Norns. But the idea is the Norns gathered around it, and when Odin was hanging upside down from the world tree, sacrificing an eye, it's what that means is sacrificing himself to himself. You'll see that written, and that's what that means. He actually sacrificed an eye to have wisdom, and it was the Norns then that pulled the runes out of the well and gave them to him. But basically this is talking about chance and fate, and who controls that. So often we think that we have no control over anything, and in truth we really do. I mean, sometimes we don't, but most of the time we talk ourselves into believing that, and it's just not true. We have all kinds of choices we can make, and sometimes those choices determine, our fate or the outcome of something. So let's take a look at the geomancy rune. Oh no, I think we're gonna, well, okay, it's Acquisitio. Let's see, that's a Missio, the opposite of that. I saw Acquisitio somewhere. Here we go. So again, aligning with the whole idea of growth with Fehu, we have Acquisitio. And that's gain. So what do we gain then from accepting that we control our fate, that the choices we make determine that in other words, we have more of an effect on the outcome than we realize. And I think that when you understand that and accept that, then you can I think you gain wisdom. I think you grow. So I think we have some alignment here with the whole idea of growth and taking responsibility for the choices that you make. I said I wasn't going to do this, but I do it every time, don't I? I wasn't going to shuffle. So let's go ahead and take our cards here and see what they have to say. I'm going to do 3 first. If I need any more, I'll take them. Well, we have the 9 of Cups, the 7 of Swords, and the 4 of Pentacles. And I started thinking about the 4 of Pentacles the other day after I got these cards and I was looking them over. And normally I interpret it as being miserliness, being miserly, and all of that. But on the other hand, it could mean something else, and I'll share that with you when I get to that card. I don't know if the order is right yet, but we'll see. Oh, let me get rid of this here. So I've got the whole screen. We have the 9 of Cups. Here we see a guy who's sitting there. He's got his arms folded, but not in a defensive posture. It's like, well, look at me. I'm so happy. I have everything I need, right? 9 is about endings and completion. You see all of the 9 chalices, the golden chalices above there on sort of like a platform above him. You see a blue drape behind him there. And he's quite happy. He's sitting on a looks either a wooden or a stone bench. I can't tell really from this. But again, the 9 of Cups is about happiness and fulfillment and success and emotional satisfaction. Cups represents the water element, and so that's our emotions. It's empathy, it's compassion, it's understanding. It's also change. It can also be about change. But here he's got everything in order. His emotions are exactly how he wants them to be. He's satisfied. Now, then we come to the Seven of Swords. And I suspect that it's probably going to come in front of, we'll put that in front of the 9. But here we see a scene where the king's men are, you can see them over here. They're having a discussion or something. You see all the tents out here. When they're going around and they're going to go fight somebody, right? They would come and they would get to where they're going to go, and they put up their tents, and everybody would muster, basically. And here it looks like you have somebody who either snuck up and took their battle plans, because swords is the mind, it's the air element, it's thought, it's reason, it's balance, it's justice, it's cutting through illusion, so truth. But either he was there as sort of a spy, maybe he was there to help out or something, to help them set up or what have you. But ideally, he's probably somebody that from the town or the other kingdom that they're coming to battle with and take over, maybe. And they've left their battle plans outside. They've left their swords sitting there. And typically, when they would come and do that, a lot of the time, if it was just a town that they were trying to take over, well, they wouldn't have the same level of armaments that the king's men would have. And so here we see them coming and taking some of that. And so in a sense, with the 7 as well, you're talking about balance, letting things come to rest, observation, letting things settle out. Well, here, I think that we're leveling the playing field. That's what it looks like to me. They're leveling the playing field. I used to think of it as, because I'm an author, I used to think of it as theft of intellectual property, because it could be, right? But here I think that he's taking some of the battle plans and he's leveling the playing field. And then we might need another card. Here we have the 4. In fact, I think we probably could have put that first. But normally I see this as the king turning his back to the kingdom. And but I wonder if he's, I mean, because he's more concerned with his own wealth than he is with the kingdom. You see the line of demarcation right here. You see that right there, that dual line. And it almost signifies this is now, this is then, a difference, in other words. And I've always interpreted it as he's hanging on tightly to what he owns, maybe at the expense of the kingdom. On the other hand, maybe he needs to have all of that to plan so that the kingdom is taken care of. And I thought about that this weekend. And I really don't know why I did, but I did. And it occurred to me that there's an opposite to that. And realistically, instead of being miserly for himself, he's gathering up everything he has so that he can protect the kingdom with it. And he's out front of the kingdom doing that. But with the 4, it's talking about foundation, and it's talking about maybe taking stock of what you have, in a sense. The 7 of Pentacles, definitely taking stock of what you have. But Pentacles is about the earth element, and it's about your material possessions, your work, your home, your family life, all of the foundation of your life. It also includes the body, health, all of that. And so I have to wonder here, either we can put the 4 in between the 7 and the 9, leveling the playing field so that you have what you need, and then you're happy, maybe. I think I'm going to leave them in that order. Or if you want to look at this in the negative, you could say the king is not giving you what you need. The powers that be are not, say, a boss. Maybe you were hoping to have maybe a raise or a Christmas bonus or holiday bonus or maybe a new position or something. But the boss isn't going to let you have that, and it's affecting your ability to then, feed your family or grow in your position. Again, growth is part of today's runes, and so maybe there's a growth issue there for you. So you could look at it that way too. And then maybe you go and you get some more education to level the playing field to make yourself more marketable to the boss, maybe. You could think of it that way. And then when all of that is said and done, you have some emotional satisfaction from it. So again, if you're looking in terms of fate, who's going to control that? Are you going to let this guy, if you're going to look at it that way, or are you going to take command of the situation, do what you need to do to then have your own emotional satisfaction? Yeah, I think I'm going to leave it this way. I think that although, like I say, you could put them in between. You could do what you need to do to elevate your status, basically, so that you can then have a little more financial security and emotional satisfaction. And so when you're looking at it from the standpoint of fate, though, with Perthro, you know, are you going to take command of the situation? You know, a lot of people, I read a thing where more and more people are working from home by design, not because of COVID. I mean, yeah, because of COVID, but not because their job is that, okay, I want you to work at home. They've left that job and now they're seeking something new, and they're a lot of it is home-based. Maybe they're starting a home-based business or something, maybe a consulting type of a thing, or they find another position where you can do the work at home. So a lot of that's happening. A lot of entrepreneurial stuff is happening right now, which is really interesting. You know, you had a situation with the pandemic that then caused a bunch of change, and it caused a bunch of reflection on how am I going to be able to do this? You know, parents had to figure out how to homeschool their kids, or to support them at least with the distance learning from their classrooms, or they homeschooled them. Either way. And I know what that's like. We pulled ours out after a point and did that. Our oldest had completed 7th and our youngest had completed 4th, and we just had enough with the school district. And so they were gifted, and we just felt they weren't getting what they needed, and so we brought them home, and they finished out at home and then attended and graduated from college. And they're both doing quite well. So it's not that you have to fear it, although you will. It's a scary thing to leave what you know and to do something else. And again, you know, right now we're all thinking about financial security and change and all of that. We've got the new Omicron variant that's sweeping the country and sweeping the world and all of that. So we're going to have to deal with that and the effects of that. And we'll see. We'll see how that works out. Because people are still getting it through the vaccines. It's just, hopefully it's not going to be as bad and as damaging. So we'll see, though. And we don't know. There could be more that come up after that. We just don't know yet. There's still a lot of things we don't know. So again, you're going to want to do something. Maybe with the air element, you can also talk about education. And so you may shift gears and get a little more training and be able to do something else that increases your family's security. And your own security, if you're not married, your own security, which then gives you emotional satisfaction. So if you've been considering it, you know, over the next, you know, this is that time of the year to do that, where one period ends and another starts beginning. We have, you know, tomorrow with winter solstice, we have the longest night. And then after that, the sun, the day starts getting longer, and it takes a while, you know, and then spring happens, and, you know, we have in other words, light time begins increasing, as my husband would say. It's light time. It's not the sun, it's light time. It's like, okay, whatever. But again, that's what we're talking about. So it's that Degas moment where one period ends and another begins. And so this, you know, with Yule and winter solstice, there's this time of reflection. And I think that this may be something you might have been thinking about or feeling, you know, this push toward doing something else. And again, it may be that you want to level the playing field somehow by getting some more training or education, or even if you just start looking around for other things that you're already qualified to do. Doing that may bring you some more financial security and emotional satisfaction. This is all just the last 2 years have been difficult, haven't they? Having to deal with a pandemic that doesn't seem to want to end. And again, we controlled that, our fate, the Perthro of it all. We controlled our fate, and because we had people that elected not to say, "Oh, I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm not going to stay home. I'm not going to limit my, out and about. I'm not going to get a vaccination." None of those things. That made it more easy for the variants to crop up and the mutations to happen. If we had all been on the same page, this likely would have been over a long time ago. But it's not, and no telling now when it's going to be. So, this is the way it is. Now we have to deal with it. We've determined our fate, in other words, or at least a group of us has determined the fate for everyone. And so now it's just time to take back some of that control, right? So anyway, hope you've been vaccinated. Get your booster if you can. If you've had the 2 and you get your booster, we've had all 3. And wear a mask in fact, we wear two masks when we go out. We did when we were out at the store. We put them on before we get out of the car, and we don't take them off till we get in the car. And then we're washing our hands with, the hand sanitizer and all of that, and putting it all over the masks and everything, just for a little extra measure of protection. So to clean them up a little bit, but take care of yourselves, and we'll see you again on Thursday. The forecast will go up all week, even on Christmas, Christmas is Saturday. It'll be up Monday through Friday, so Christmas Eve, it'll be up there the whole week. I did most of them yesterday. I just have to finish up a few things on each one for each day, so look for those to come up. And the esoteric influences will go out again on the weekend for the following week. So we have a grandchild that's coming the middle of January. So if you don't see me when I'm supposed to be seen, then you'll know that we're there. So anyway, we're just very excited about it. So Grandma and Grandpa are getting ready, and we might be taking care of the other kids while Mom and Dad are there at the hospital having the baby. So anyway, we're excited. All these wonderful things happening. So lots of transition for everyone. So anyway, have a good week. Think about this, see if it resonates. And if you're thinking again about making a change, then this might be the time to do that, and to think about it and reflect on what you need, what your family needs, and where you can take that, and you be the one who determines your fate. So thanks again for watching. Click subscribe if you haven't already, and be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.